Hello, welcome to Papa Nick's Music. I am, as always, your host, Papa Nick Lewis, and today we're revisiting an old topic. A year and a half ago, time flies, I posted a video entitled Out of Step, in which I talked about music that you would think I like based on the topics of the videos I post, based on just general appearance. You would think I would like this stuff. But I wasn't a big fan of it. My rationale at the time was that if I'm talking about good music, and my philosophy here is, as cheesy as it sounds, positivity, not negativity. I want to focus on stuff that I like. I don't want to sit here and bash things that I don't like. But it only makes sense that if I spend the bulk of my time talking about the stuff that I like, I should at least occasionally refer to the other guardrail, right? The stuff that I'm not that big a fan of. Just so that you've got a better sense of what my overall taste map is, so that you know anytime I'm talking about something you may not be all that familiar with, whether or not you should give it a try. And I was reminded of this video that I did over the last couple of weeks. There are a few YouTube channels that I regularly watch. One of them is Classic Album Review. Barry Robinson does these wonderful videos where he talks about the history of classic rock, prog rock. I'm more about the classic rock. And I love his videos. There are, of the channels that I watch, his channel and the Beach Boys Basement with Steve Lewis are probably the most consistently informative channels. I'm learning more about music watching those channels than I am most of the others that I watch. And a couple of weeks ago, Barry posted a video, the 10 artists I should love but don't. And then last week he posted one, the 10 albums I should love but don't. I may have those backwards, but over the past couple of weeks he's been talking about stuff that he should love but doesn't. And that reminded me that I had fully intended when I did the first Out of Step video that I would do more. I just wouldn't do them very often. And so, year and a half later, I'm doing part two. So, this is music that I should love, but I'm not that big a fan of it. I want to be clear. I am not saying that any of this stuff I'm talking about today is bad music. No, it's good music. There is good, strong reason why you would probably think that I like this stuff, right? I'm not, this isn't, I'm not going to talk about Disco Duck, for example. Fucking hate Disco Duck. This is not stuff that I hate because I think it's bad music. No, this is stuff that just doesn't connect with me. It's not music that I would choose to listen to on any given day. And I'll talk about, as I go through, I'll talk about why. But I'm not saying any of this is bad music, so don't go there. To be eligible to be included on the list, it had the artist, and in this case, it's all artists. Last time I included a couple of albums, but this is all artists. These are artists that I have listened to, but I have no desire to own it. It could be that I've owned some of their albums in the past, and I just recycled them out of my library. And it could be I've heard it enough just through pop culture that I don't feel the need to I don't feel the need to track down a copy of any of this artist's work. And as in my last video, I'm dividing them into two general groups. Group number one is the stuff that I'm largely lukewarm towards. I would, all things being equal, I'd prefer not to listen to it. But if it plays, okay, I can tune it out and get on with my life. The other category is the stuff that I actively dislike. This is the stuff that I would prefer not to listen to, and I really don't want you to play it. I really don't want to have to listen to it. The metric I'm using here to decide which of the two camps a given artist should be in is I'm imagining myself at a party. And this is a good old school party where we've got a turntable and we're playing LPs. This is not a Spotify playlist kind of a party, okay? And an album comes, somebody puts an album on by one of these artists. One of the strategic, tactical benefits of being a smoker in this day and age is that I have a built-in excuse for removing myself from a social setting, which is very good for those of us who skew towards the introverted end of the spectrum. Those of us for whom dealing with a large group of people in a social setting can prove to be taxing, and after a while we just need a break. I need to get away from you people, and I need to go outside and I need to breathe for a little bit. Being a smoker gives you a built-in reason for doing that nobody questions, and nobody has the reaction of, ooh, what did we do to offend Nick? Nothing. I just needed a smoke break. So if this album comes on and I would prefer not to listen to it, but I don't feel the need to take a smoke break, it goes in the lukewarm category. If I'm heading outside for a smoke break, it goes in the dislike category. Cool? Okay. Also, I'm not doing a subjectivity notice this week. Obviously, that's baked into the concept, right? This is stuff that I should like, but I don't. So, obviously, subjective reactions. We ready? Okay. Coming in at number 1 on my lukewarm list, I actually have a tie here. Extra content. I've made no secret of the fact that I'm a big fan of power pop music. I love power pop music. I love the Raspberries, and I love Badfinger and the Knack and Fountains of Wayne. Oh, I can't get enough of this stuff. And so it would be a reasonable assumption to assume that because I like power pop as much as I do, I would like Big Star. Big Star is for most power pop fans, Big Star was the seminal power pop. The band that kicked it all off. Everybody loves Big Star. No, not everybody. I largely find their music to be boring, and for me, the appeal to power pop music is its inherent catchiness. And there's nothing catchy about Big Star. And I said it's a tie because I would also put Cheap Trick in this category. I've tried to like Cheap Trick because I should like Cheap Trick. At different points in my life, I have owned Heaven Tonight. I've owned Dream Police. I've owned, In Color? Is that the name of the other one? There's a crawl down here if I've got my names, the album titles screwed up. I've owned these things. I've listened to them. I've tried. I don't own them anymore because I don't care that much for Cheap Trick. Largely, I find Big Star and Cheap Trick both to be, for the most part, competent music, just not anything that connects to me, and there's no reason that I want to sit and listen to it. So, number 1 on my lukewarm list is the tie between the power pop idols, Big Star and Cheap Trick. Coming in at number 2, I've got another tie. When I did my ELO album ranking video, I talked about ELO as the lingua franca among my friends when I was in high school regarding musical taste. It was the one band that we all loved. Other bands that we all loved, for the most part, were Van Halen, Queen. Most of my friends liked those as well. It wasn't as universal as ELO. ELO was the top drawer. There were some bands that were very popular among my friends that I just didn't care much for. Specifically, Journey and Styx. I tried liking Journey and Styx both. There for a while in the early 80s, man, you could not get away from Journey. They were huge, playing on the radio all the time. Oh, just, yeah. And it's not bad music, but it just doesn't touch me. It doesn't connect to me. I've tried liking Styx. At some point, I've owned Pieces of Eight. I've owned The Grand Illusion. I've owned Kilroy was here. Jesus Christ. I've owned a couple of Journey albums, and I can't even recall titles because they all blend together. I can't tell one album from another unless I can look at the track listing. And I give it a listen, and it goes right back into the bin of music that I take with me the next time I go to a used record store. Never been a big fan of Journey or Styx. I understand why you might think I am. Just never connected to me. This next one, coming in at number 3 here. There are a couple of songs by this band that I really, really like. I have 2 albums by them. And I will occasionally play these albums, but I'm mostly playing for the couple 3 songs that I like. And that is AC/DC. AC/DC was really popular among my friends when I was in high school and in college. And there are a couple of songs of AC/DC's that I love. I love Highway to Hell. I have a copy of Highway to Hell on vinyl. Haha. But Highway to Hell is the only song on that whole album that I listen to. I've got a copy of Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap in my CD rack over here. And Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap is pretty much all I listen to on that one. I could very easily get a greatest hits compilation, get those 2 songs. That's all I need from AC/DC. Everything else sounds the same, and it's not bad, but I couldn't take a steady diet of it. AC/DC, I'm just largely lukewarm towards. Okay, this next one. This is going to be, I think, difficult for people to believe. Because I obviously listen to a lot of music. I've been talking for almost 2 years on this channel about music, about the music that I love, and there's a fairly broad variety of things that I've talked about. And while I've made it clear that I stopped listening to top 40 radio in the probably mid-'80s was the last time I had any sort of sense of what was in the top 40. I stopped listening to popular music in the 80s, but I've still kept my finger on musical pulses. I just haven't gone by what is the current hit. I still listen to music. I listen to music that was recorded in the 90s and the 2000s and the 2010s, and few weeks ago did a video about one of my current favorite albums, Paul Williams, not that one, Surf Music, which was 2018? Yeah, doesn't matter. Because I do keep tabs on music, particularly on pop and rock music, then it makes perfect sense that I should know Nirvana. And I still wouldn't recognize Smells Like Teen Spirit if I heard it. I think I've heard it maybe twice in my life. The first time I heard it was literally within the past 5 years. I largely avoided grunge music because it all sounds the same and it's not a sound that I find particularly pleasing, so I just kind of avoided the whole thing. And what little I've heard of Nirvana does not make me think I would like any of the rest of it. So I've managed to steer pretty clear of Nirvana, and I frankly don't understand the attraction. So number 4 on my list of stuff that I'm lukewarm towards is Nirvana. And it's on the lukewarm list simply because you could play it and I wouldn't know it was Nirvana. I would just tune it out because it's a type of music that I don't care for. And then finally, my last artist that I'm lukewarm towards. I'm going to remind you, I started this with my disclaimer that said, I'm not saying any of this is bad music. So, I'm not saying that this artist is a bad artist. Don't go there, okay? It just doesn't connect with me personally. probably the biggest shocker on the list is I've never been a big fan of... I wince because I could hear the screams from here. I've never been a big fan of John Lennon as a solo artist. Love him in the Beatles. Love his work in the Beatles. Oh man. Love John Lennon in the Beatles. But John Lennon as a solo artist largely leaves me cold. I've tried. I've tried. The only John Lennon solo album I have, I've got a compilation CD, and it's got Just Like Starting Over, a song that I adore. It's got Number 9 Dream, which I really like. It's got Whatever Gets You Through the Night, which I like, even though it has Elton John on it. Surprising there. So there is this small handful of songs of John Lennon's that I really like, and I've got those on the compilation. I've listened to most of his albums. I can't say I've listened to all of them, but I've listened to most of them, and none of them made me want to hang on to a copy of it. There's just something about John Lennon as a solo artist that just does not appeal to me. I've tried to pin it down. I think his music is overly simple, but that's not an issue for me in general. I'm wearing a Michael Nesmith and the First National Band t-shirt today, and Michael Nesmith is the king of writing really simple music. It's not necessarily that his lyrics are bad. I think they're a little on the pretentious side, but that's not necessarily a drawback either. They don't connect to me. Even the unquestionably classic Imagine. Everybody loves Imagine. It's why I would say universally beloved if it weren't for the fact that I don't particularly care for that song, and I don't think I'm the only one, but I do think I'm in the overwhelming minority. I don't care for Imagine. No. So, yeah. I hate to put him in here, but if I'm being honest, I am lukewarm towards John Lennon. He's not going to drive me out for a smoke break, but I'm certainly not glad that somebody put his album on the radio or on the record player here in this party that I have in my head. These next 5 artists, though, soon as that needle drops and I recognize it, boom, I am outside. And for all 5 of them, it is the same reason. There is something about the singer's voice, the vocal quality, the timbre, something. There's something in there that just drives me out of my tree, and I can't listen to it. Okay? Since I've got essentially the same comment for all 5 of these, I'm going to blow through them pretty quickly. Coming in at number 1, never been a big fan of REM. I understand why people like REM. There are some really good songs in there, but Jesus Christ, if I had to listen to Michael Stipe sing more than one song, I would go insane. REM comes on, smoke break. Number 2, Pearl Jam. Again, I understand why people like them, but as soon as I hear smoke break, fucking hate Eddie Vedder's voice. Number 3. See, I told you I was going through this quickly. Actually, I have 2 reasons why I hate Guns N' Roses. One is Axl Rose. Oh, man. This one was particularly painful because when that first album, and I don't even want to dredge the name of it out of my memory. I'm doing my best to stamp this stuff out. But when that album was popular, Welcome to the Jungle was popular. You couldn't go into a department store or an appliance store, a Best Buy, any place like that, any place that would have a wall of TVs in the store without hearing that song. And I hate Axl Rose's voice. I also hate the fact that it's Guns N' Roses. Guns N' Roses. That's not how you apostrophize And if you are going to use apostrophes, you put one before the N and after the N. Look at the way rock and roll is usually spelled. Rock, space, apostrophe N, apostrophe space, roll, right? Guns N' Roses. Fucking hate Guns N' Roses. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying I can't listen to it. Then these next two. Okay, I'm going to get pushback for those first three, but I don't think I'm going to get like, oh, you heretic, we're going to burn you in effigy or anything like that. These next two, oh man. I respect Joni Mitchell as a songwriter. There are many of her songs that I think are just glorious. Both Sides Now. I love Both Sides Now. Big Yellow Taxi. I love Big Yellow Taxi. But I hate Joni Mitchell's voice. There's something about in Big Yellow Taxi is one of the few songs of hers that I can actually listen to without twitching until it gets to the very end and she's got that little laugh that, oh man, if I hear that, that's gonna send me off the road into a ditch. I love her as a songwriter. I respect her as a songwriter. And I'd rather have bamboo shoots under my fingernails than actually listen to her sing any of her work. But my number one here, I hate listening to Janis Joplin. Oh my God. The rasp. I normally like a good raspy voice, but hers, no. Listening, it's both dull because of the rasp and piercing at the same time. I don't know how she does it. It's like having a stainless steel spike that's made out of sandpaper jabbed into my spinal cord. Oh, I cannot listen to Janis Joplin. I can't. As soon as I can tell, I'm listening to the radio, and as soon as I recognize, oh yeah, you better believe I'm punching that button to get to the next preset, because I cannot listen to Janis Joplin. Oh, I understand why everybody loves her. I'm not saying she's a bad singer. No, I'm saying there's something about her voice that just is like biting on tinfoil. I cannot listen to Janis Joplin without going insane. And that's music that I personally don't care for, though I completely understand why everybody else does. I am not saying these are bad singers, bad bands. No, they don't connect to me for one reason or another. There are many other things that I could talk about. I haven't mentioned Def Leppard. I haven't mentioned Weezer. Oh, I haven't mentioned the monstrosity that is U2. So there's all sorts of other stuff I could talk about. What do you think I should include? Drop those notes down below. I always love hearing from you. As always, if you enjoyed the video, and I hope you did, and I thank you if you did, I would appreciate it if you'd click the like button. If you do click the like button, go ahead and click the subscribe button while you're down there. If you have not subscribed already, you might as well. It's free. If you do subscribe, click the bell for notifications. That matters to the YouTube folks, so I would appreciate it. And again, thanks for hanging out with me today. I enjoyed it, and I hope that the rest of your day is satisfying. See you soon.